Hey, audience, I wanted to say thanks for joining on our inaugural episode of Keeping It Real in Real Estate, hosted by Lauren Johnson and Steve Harris. We're both title reps for Jet Closing. We're going to take a few minutes in the show to introduce myself and Lauren and Jet Closing and kind of say a little bit about why we think all of the realtors should be working with Jet Closing. I'm going to go first, and then after that, Lauren's going to go after me. And so one of the things about Jet Closing is we have an app that basically keeps you and your buyers and sellers, your clients, up to date in real time as the transaction progresses. Now, everybody's heard me say the stat of there's 30 people involved in a real estate transaction, and all 30 of them can derail it. But with the Jet app, not only are our mortgage officers up to date on what's happening with the transaction, our realtors are up to date on what's happening with the transactions, but the buyers and sellers have access to that. So no more 9 p.m. calls on a Saturday wondering what's happening with the transaction. Thank you so much. And Lauren, it's up to you.
Right. So, Jet Closing, we're a very tech forward company, but we're also a very human company. We love customized customer service, but Jet Closing leverages technology to give realtors a competitive advantage. Realtors are dealing with more informed clients than ever before, so we offer a way to bring value to their clients through the closing process. Working with us, our realtors can spend less time involved in the closing process and focus on what's important: building relationships and getting the next deal. We are here to make you look like shining stars to your clients. Thank you.
That's awesome, Lauren. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so next we're going to have our first guest, which is Jeremy. He is our exclusive loan officer here for Nevada. Jeremy, take it away.
Hey everyone, how you doing? My name is Jeremy Crudup with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and here at Fairway, we pride ourselves on having nationwide strength. We compete with a lot of the large banks for volume, and but we also take a more home approach with hometown service. We also run the company based on 10 core values. One of my favorite I wanted to highlight is speed to respond. Throughout the whole process of communication with Fairway, we're going to contact the customer and make sure they know the whole process of what to expect, but more importantly, contact the realtor so they're up to date on any changes or any things that happen along the way. Also, with speed to respond is we're sort of known as kind of a rescue group. There's many times that we've rescued some loans from even the likes of some of these spaceship named loan companies, and we actually rescued a loan from their social media marketing manager one time. So there's not a week that goes by where we don't get a group email where there's some 7 to 5 day clear to close options where we've kind of had to rescue some stuff. But obviously that's an imperfect situation, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen for people, but it is an opportunity. As far as for the consumer, it's not just me that works on each loan. We have a whole team that helps along throughout the process, each person specializing in what they do best. So I bring them in, we get them processed and checked out with their information, and they move along to other members of the team so that I can continue to reach more customers and the people who specialize in, touching base with the customer and figuring out what they need and what they're lacking. And then I can reiterate that to the customer. So there's a really smooth communication process with the whole thing. Now, that being said, on the realtor side of that, Fairway, we also have a underwritten pre-approval process called the Fairway Advantage Program, where we'll actually take a application and do a full underwritten pre-approval with a to be determined address. This allows the customer to go shopping with a full confidence. It's not like some of the larger banks where you're going to touch a human, 2 to 3 weeks before close. We're actually getting a lot of the hard and dirty work done early so that the customers can go and search and compete with things like cash offers. This really helps with realtor communication and retention as well, because as we know in the market right now, there's a lot of volatility and a lot of cash buyers, so we can help compete with that, giving the realtor a little more firepower. As for me personally, I'm a business owner for 10 years. My dad was a business owner, so I grew up in kind of that area. I also was one of the youngest management training program attendees for In-N-Out Burger in a younger life. I was 20 years old in that program. So I've been in business and making things happen my whole life. And I pride myself on being a fixer, problem solver, and I'm not scared to get creative when it comes to finding solutions. I can tell you there was a situation recently where a borrower had some issues with their debt to income ratio, and we suggested they sold a second car to clear that up and also free up some cash to allow them to put more down and get better terms. So there's, ways to, more than one way to skin a cat, as they say, and we like to find solutions. Also, I'm confident that together we can figure out a way to sell more homes and put more people in houses this year. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jeremy. I appreciate that. Very, very, very well said. So like I said, Jeremy is going to be handling our mortgage business for here in Nevada, and we're going to shift over to our exclusive mortgage officer in Arizona. Vince, take it away.
Hi, I'm Vince Mazzacco. I'm an independent mortgage broker. I own my own company. It's Mortgages by Mazzacco Group. I've been doing mortgage financing for 25 years. I think I'm in my 25th year actually. In that 25 years, I've helped thousands and thousands of home buyers navigate the home buying process, which can be complex. Some people are super simple, a W-2 and a pay stub and a bank statement. And others are more complex. They own 5 or 6 businesses and they have 6 or 7 tax returns and multiple P&Ls and balance sheets and all those types of things. And I consider myself an expert in all those categories because I've been doing it for so long. One of the things I think is probably my biggest strength, and this actually was a compliment from a borrower years ago, and they said, Vince is a teacher at heart. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, that it couldn't be any more truthful. I am a teacher at heart. I like to teach people. So the fact that I have knowledge in an industry that isn't well known, I use my teaching to guide those buyers through the process, whether it's a first-time home buyer and spending time with them just to understand, hey, what's a CPL? What's title insurance? What are those things? I'm the type that actually takes the time to explain those types of things to them. As an independent mortgage broker, I do the shopping for you. So I can go to a bunch of different lenders to find the best rates and fees for you. And as an independent mortgage broker, rates and fees are the lowest for the consumers. And I think that kind of tidies things up. And well, no, maybe actually one more thing here. When it comes to the realtors in the transaction, I try to set my buyers apart by making an outbound call to the realtors, the listing agents, when an offer is presented, because I want them to know, hey, listen, you got super solid buyers in the Smiths. I do a weekly status call every week on Wednesdays to let you know what's going on. Between those weekly statuses, if something important pops up, like the CD's out or we're clear to close or the appraisal's in, I'll shoot out an email, but you'll have a nice, smooth transaction throughout the process. So I'm really involved from the beginning to the end with my buyers and the realtors that are working with us. And that's it.
So a question for you guys, Jeremy and Vince, are you seeing a shift within the mortgage marketplace? I mean, is there more like FHA ones being done, VAs maybe not as much, more conventional? What are you guys seeing as far as the loans out there? Vince, you're first.
I think that's good. I'll be curious to hear what Jeremy's responses to this because he's in a different state. So FHA here in the Valley in Maricopa County in Arizona, FHA is just not a real popular product. Our median home price is $450. FHA just increased their loan amount. I don't even know what it is. That's how frequently I do an FHA loan for. Jeremy, can you even say what? Do you know what it is off the top of your head?
It's actually $420 right now.
$420, yeah, and our median home price is $450. So, in the 15 years here in the Valley that I've been doing financing, I bet you I haven't done a dozen FHA. By comparison, I spent the first 8-9 years of my career in Ohio, and FHA was super common. It was every other transaction, especially for first-time home buyers. So VA is always a good mix. We have a military base here in Maricopa County, Luke Air Force Base. So I do a decent amount of VA, and I'm actually military certified. I got that certification when I was at a previous bank. So there's not a lot of people that have the military certification for mortgage financing. To answer the question, conventional financing is the #1 mix, followed by probably VA and then jumbo, and then FHA just taking a fourth seat way down the line.
Gotcha. Jeremy, your turn.
Yeah, I would second that. Borrowers are having a hard time getting into the program just because of the limitations. But I think more what I'm seeing is just people, I hate to say it, just not prepared. The lack of funds ready, poor credit, high student loans. A lot of stuff's kind of getting at people. And what really scares me is more of the people who are renting. They're yeah, it's as Vince said, the home median price has gone up, so much more year over year, especially the last 2 years, and it's just really hard for people to qualify. I would say mostly the most popular programs right now are like 3% down conventional. Some of those programs are really good, but a typical is 5%, and yeah, FHA also with the fees being so much higher, that's a little harder. So yeah, it's definitely a pro and con for people. If they have down and they can find a home that's under the 420 kind of ceiling, then it works for some, but it definitely limits their options for sure.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you, Jeremy and Vince, taking a moment to kind of tell us what you're seeing in each individual mortgage market. Really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to take a minute to introduce our next guest. His name is Rick Tankersley. I've known Rick and followed his content on Facebook for about the last 5 or 6 years that he's been posting training articles and training content. I've always been impressed with some of the things that he's said and how he conducts his training programs from what I've seen. And I've also heard from a lot of realtors that have attended his training that have met success beyond their wildest dreams. So, Rick, take it away. It's all yours.
Hey, thanks a lot. I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to be anywhere because it's a great day. Every day is a great day to be in real estate. This is such an amazing opportunity that we have. I believe that what I do is to help people realize how awesome real estate is. That's really what it comes down to, because a lot of people out there are really kind of have the wrong perspective. Don't they find a problem in every solution. And so what I try to do, I try to help them see the light and the promise that real estate holds. Real estate agents should all be doing fantastic business right now. So that's what I do. I help them figure that out. And every day I do a wake up call at 7:30. I call it the Breakfast Club. I have it on, and I have all my anyone who wants to jump in on that on Zoom can jump in and just be motivated for about 30 minutes and have a little bit of training, a little bit of motivation, things like that. I only do it because I enjoy seeing agents succeed. That's really what it comes down to. Been doing this for about 15 years, and well, I've been doing it for a lot longer than that, but been working with agents for about 15 years and helping them become super successful. So that's my thing. I kind of wanted to jump into what we were talking about today as far as our coaching segment and training segment for agents, and where I always start with agents when I meet with them. What I normally do is I sit down with them and I'll have about an hour evaluation to see where their business is, and I'll sit with them and I'll see where they're getting their business from, where their struggles are, where their challenges, and also where their successes are. And normally what I find that agents get into the business and they just start rolling, and a lot of times they start rolling in the wrong direction and they don't do the right things in the right time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I'm going to talk a little bit about your sphere of influence, because I always come back to this. Everybody tells you should be working your SOI, your sphere of influence, but I don't know if anyone ever really talks about how important it is and how easy it is. Um, what I normally do, and whoever's listening today can do this, you can open up your phone and you can scroll down to your contacts. And when you scroll down to the bottom of your contacts, you're going to see how many contacts you have. Now, I have 500 and something contacts because I'm constantly going in and weeding it out. But there are people that I work and do this exercise with, that they have thousands of contacts in their phone. And every contact you have in your phone is somebody that you should call and and ask them for a referral. Ask them, and I have a script here, so it won't be awkward, right? Because when you're trying to call people in your phone, a lot of times it's a little awkward. But before you do anything else in your business, no matter how long you've been doing it, you should stop, open up your phone, and start calling people. and just say something like this. Hey, this is Rick. How you doing? And that's the script, right? Hey, how are you doing? A lot of times we wonder, hey, what do we say? What do we say this? How you doing? You doing okay? Now don't do like Joey on Friends say, how you doing? No, but say, how you doing? You doing okay? Yeah, I'm doing great. And then you say, hey, I have a quick question for you. Do you have a minute? That gets you set up for having a business conversation instead of being a long conversation. Ask them how they're doing. Say a little, make a little small talk and say, hey, I have a question for you. Do you have a minute? And of course, they're going to say, sure. I'm just kind of letting you know that I'm now officially in real estate. I'm a real estate agent. Now, you may be a real estate agent already, have been for a long time. So you change up the script and you say, hey, I just want you to let you know I just changed over to a different company, or hey, I just want to call let you know, remind you that I'm still in real estate and I need your help. This will activate your friends and family and loved ones. When you say I need your help, something happens in their brain subconsciously where they perk up a little bit more and they start thinking, what can I do to help you? Now, they're not going to say that, or they might be thinking, oh my gosh, the shoe's going to drop in. They're going to ask me for a big favor. So you're just going to say, I'm updating my database and I realize I don't have your home address. Can I get that from you? And it may not be your home address. You can always say, I realize I don't have your email address. Can I get that from you? Either one of those is great. Now, I recommend the home address because you're going to need that one day when you start sending them thank you letters and things like that, handwritten notes. But you can use whatever you want to at this point to make them feel good. So, can I get your home address because I realize I don't have it? So, and almost everybody's going to say, sure, no problem. If they ask you, why do you need that? Say, oh, it's only because I'm trying to complete my database. And you can always ask, is there a problem? Do you not want me to have your number? No, I'm just kidding. They won't say there will be a problem. If there is a problem, you say, well, hey, can I have your email address? And then you write that down and say, hey, do you know anyone? Because all we said now is getting to this point. Now we say, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell a house right now? And then wait for them to answer. They're probably going to say no, or hey, I don't really know of anybody. No problem. How about you? When do you plan on moving? And if you would follow through with this script and call everybody in your database, and when I mean database, in your contacts on your phone. Now, if you're going through your phone and you have to think about who you can call and who you don't, you should probably delete some of those people, because if they don't know you or like you, wondering why you have their phone number, right? So what you want to do, you want to make sure that you're calling everybody in your phone, and you'll be so super surprised how many people know someone who's moving or are planning on moving themselves. They're either selling or buying. So what I would do right off the bat is stop what you're doing and start doing things right. The only way to do things right is to make sure you call everybody. The last thing I'll say is that people are so concerned. We're obsessed with leads. Agents are obsessed with leads. And so what happens is they're so obsessed with leads that they're buying leads and they're doing everything they can. Zillow, Realtor.com, OpCity, all these different lead generation programs out there, and they're paying out the nose for them, but they're paying for people they don't know or don't know them, and especially don't like them because they don't know them enough to like them. But if you were to start working your sphere of influence and calling people you know, it costs you no money whatsoever. It just costs you time. And now you could probably go through there and you could call 5 or 10 people a day and have it done by the end of a couple of months, right? But it gives you someone to call every day and say, hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell? And then if they say yes or no, then you say, well, how about you? When do you plan on moving? And so that's what you do, man. You just have to get out there and do it. Don't go buy any leads until you've exhausted every lead you have in your phone. And that's my advice for today. I think if you do that, you're going to see, you'll be pleasantly surprised at the results.
That is awesome. You know, Rick, one of the things that I like about what you're talking about in this slide is that every step, every stage that you're doing within the script, you're talking about two key concepts when you're talking about sales. You're building rapport, you're establishing a connection with the person on that line. And then the second thing is that you're also doing what's called earn the right. You know, so you're earning the right at every phase within this script. So how are you? I have a question. Do you have a minute? that do you have a minute right there is earning the right to keep the conversation going, right? So
Most
build
definitely.
rapport, earn the right, just calling to let you know, hey, can I get that address? You know, now you're getting them to give you a little bit more information because you've earned the right with the rapport and the steps you've taken, everything else. So I think that is a masterful script, and I really, really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Oh, not a problem. I think agents tend to not put value in scripts because it doesn't sound like them. And what I tell agents, it's not supposed to sound like you. It's supposed to sound like somebody who can actually sell. So, uh, so listen to it and actually read it until it becomes and practice it until it becomes part of you, until it does sound like you, and then you can get out there and really kill it with it.
Yep. Yep. No, I really, really want to thank you for sharing that slide with us. And the Breakfast Club, please put that in the group that we have, the Keeping It Real Estate
Okay,
Facebook group that we've got, so that people can join your Breakfast Club meetings. And
will
then
do.
Vince, Jeremy, and Rick, also make sure that your social media handles are in there so that people can find you. The whole point of this show that we're doing is to help realtors, you know, and to help
Fantastic.
them get more business, help them, you know, get through the loan and transaction better. Because if we can provide a good, amazing experience for our realtor partners that they can provide for their buyers and sellers, then they get all those referrals from that experience. So that's what
Fantastic.
this is about. So thank you, thank you,
Great.
thank you.
Great.
Vince or Jeremy, do you have any questions for Rick?
No, I mean, Rick, that was really great. I did want to throw a little sugar on top of what Steve said, and that I also agree that you're asking for the business. I think that a lot of realtors are scared of that step. That
Mm-hmm.
you are in sales now. You are supposed to ask for the business. The worst thing they can say is no, and we're going to hear no anyway. So just get it out of the way and gently ask after you build the rapport. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. I know old sales trainer Tommy Hopkins said that it takes a hundred yeses to get a no. I mean, 100 no's to get a yes. So get excited every time you say your no, and just keep on going. The more no's you get, the closer you are to getting a yes.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, there's a
So
little book. Oh, let's see if I can remember the name of it. It's like a 1 hour read. I think it's The Goal is No.
Yep.
And we had to reprogram our brains to hear the word no, that no was good. Because the more no's I get, the closer I am to a yes. And there was a
Hmm.
company that set their initiative on the more no's, the more successful. So the goal for Jeremy and Rick and Vince today is to make 25 phone calls, and whoever gets the most no's wins.
That I love that. I love that. That's
Because
awesome.
statistically, they know that whoever gets the most no's also gets, guess what? The most yeses. And that was
Most
the whole
definitely.
premise of running their sales force. And I don't remember the numbers now, but their volume like quadrupled. Um,
Wow. I
and
don't doubt
just
that.
because they were going go for no. That's the name of it. Go for
Go
no.
for no.
Go for no. It's like if you do it on audio, it's like a 1 hour audio. And
Wow.
if you read fast, it's less than that. Go for no.
Go for no. That's great. I know that the human brain registers rejection as pain.
Right.
So whenever you get, that's why we're always trying to find, it's always trying to find other things to do other than experience that pain again. So when you reprogram your brain to think, hey, I'm excited about getting a no, then it changes your life completely.
Totally. Yeah. And then when no becomes the goal, yes, I got another no.
Yep.
Yes, I got another no. you know.
I love that. That's a great way of looking at it. Great
Yep.
perspective.
Go for no. Read the book or get it on audio. It's awesome.
Most definitely.
So with what you guys are seeing right now, both Vince, Jeremy, and Rick, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing that realtors are facing today? I know you just covered it a little bit in your discussion, Rick, as far as, you know, go buy leads, go buy Zillow leads, buy realtor leads, or buy leads from Bob down the street who owns a social media company. Uh, you know, but that all takes money, right?
Yeah.
So is one of the challenges that we're seeing is, too much competition, lack of advertising budgets, or, what do you see, Rick?
I believe if there is a challenge, the only challenge we have is the market itself with the lack of inventory, and because agents putting up multiple offers on different properties trying to get them done. But the solution to that is just getting more clients to talk to, right? And keep on moving forward. I think the biggest challenge we have is the market trying to keep up with the inventory as low as it is, and then trying to get agents, because they're not making the money quickly, and they get discouraged very quickly. After a while, they're like, "Oh, I'm just putting in all these hours, putting in all these offers, and it's not working." And so there are solutions. That the solution is number one, work on getting some listings at the same time you're getting some buyers, and get that listing, that because those listings are going to sell quickly. And we're going to talk more as time goes by about how to get listings and how to mix it up into our business model. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is taking longer for buyers now because of the market, finding
Gotcha.
the right home and then getting it sold.
Jeremy, biggest challenge facing realtors today?
I think Rick kind of touched a little bit on it. I think it's work ethic. I think that every realtor could find a listing that they could go and sit at an open house for on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday for another listing agent, especially if they're new, and sit there and greet people. It's all about shaking hands and kissing babies, right? So I feel like the as loan officers, we need more realtors doing that. The open house in my mind is the biggest tool for lead generation for the entire industry that we have. I think it's better than Zillow. I mean, sure, people search on Zillow because it's convenient, but when they want to go see a house that they're interested in, they physically get dressed and they drive to a location because they're curious. They want to see what it looks like in person. And that's a perfect time to communicate with the customer and get down to brass tacks about what their situation is and more of their needs. Sure, that house might not be the perfect one. I can't tell you how many open houses I've been to where it's an incredibly overinflated price, like a 50,000 over because the listing agent is just sitting on it. But it's still a great lead gen because people want to see what the homes look like. They can use the neighborhood, also. I don't know if Rick teaches this as well, but some of the realtors I've worked with, they go out and knock all the doors and let people know in the neighborhood what the house is selling for. By the way, did you know your house is down the street selling for XYZ? How much did you buy your home for, and how long have you been here? And that can create listings because of that Jones effect. Oh, really? Tommy down the street sold his house for how much? So I think that's the number one greatest tool that realtors have at their access is the ability to do open houses. Vince and I can't go do an open house by ourselves. We need you guys for that. Mm-hmm. So, for young realtors, it's get out there, be the face, and you'll also create a relationship with that listing agent by doing that.
Perfect.
Yep.
Vince, bring it home.
Okay,
challenges facing realtors today.
You know what? I'll just kind of chain link off of these two guys. Number one is inventory. We don't have any. Most people don't realize that back in the crash, there was a national average of 3.7 million homes on the market nationally. And right now, there's just a little over 900,000 homes on the market.
Wow.
And in that decade, we've added 10 to 12 million families. So now you have 10 to 12 million more families vying for 75% less inventory. Now, to something that Jeremy said, and I think Rick touched on it too, I think a lot of people in our industry fail to realize that this is a sales job. Just because I went to the ARDE to get my real estate license does not make me a salesperson. That means I have a license to sell real estate. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I know how to work an open house, to Jeremy's point, where it's a good lead gen. Hey, if I just sit on my butt and I say, oh yeah, go ahead, tool around the house. Okay, thank you for coming. And I wave as they walk out the door without trying to engage them. This is a sales job. And in sales jobs, we need to engage people, which goes back to what Rick said earlier about your database. You know what? I scrolled down to the bottom. I didn't know that was there. There's 3,400 people in my phone. So, that's just a huge audience, right? So touching base with your sphere, introducing yourself, and letting them know what you do, but engaging things like this to learn how to do an open house. How do I make that open house effective? I have an agent, she's awesome at it. Saturday, she had an open house, and she said, you know what, she goes, I don't need to waste my time, but I want to see if I can work both ends of it. I want to see if I can pick a couple buyers up. And she listed it on Thursday, had 5 showings on Friday, and she was still going to hold an open house on Saturday because she wanted the walkthroughs. She wanted to pick up some buyers. So, but she's aggressive, and she knows how to talk to people when they walk in the door.
Is anyone poker players here? You got any poker players?
Yeah.
A couple poker players in the crowd? Okay, so maybe some of the audience is poker player. Which player at the table wins? The most aggressive, right? It's always the most aggressive player. So it's very similar in sales. They need to just, get out there and greet people. And that doesn't mean being pushy. That means find an angle, like picking a lock. You got to find something that you relate with those people. I like your shoes. It could be simple. Like, oh, what a nice handbag. If you're a lady, you just find a common ground with somebody that you communicate with.
That's exactly right. There are there's so many so many things that we could talk about in the coming weeks. I mean, we can talk about open houses. I love open houses. Doing open house, agents should do them every week, if not more than once a week. And they should. There's 3 questions to ask when they get there, and 3 questions to ask when they leave, and then there are switch properties. You always have switch properties available because about 40 to 50% are not even going to be interested in this house once they see it. So but you can tell them, hey, I've got other properties in the neighborhood. You have those ready. And like you said, you're aggressively trying to sell, not trying to sell this house, trying to get a client under contract. That's what it comes down to. So yeah, the aggressiveness is where agents, I think, miss out. They just kind of float. And we're not about floating, we're about driving, right? Driving this business home.
Yep.
I like it. I think that one of the things that happens when you get your shiny new real estate license, and you pick a broker and everything else, there's just so much information coming at you. You don't know what's real and what's not. And it's hard to sift through all of that because you'll have veteran agents that are telling you, oh, you got to talk to my guy that does SEO for my website. You got to talk to my person that does my leads, or you got to talk to Zillow or a realtor, or you got to post houses on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, or you got to do an open house, but not here's how you do an open house to be successful.
Right.
Just go find an open house and good luck. And there's too much of that going on in this industry.
100%. And I that's a pet peeve of mine. I go do secret shopping every weekend. I look to see what other agents are doing for open houses, and it's really pathetic a lot of times, but at least they're doing them, right? But the thing is, you have to capture that lead and you have to go after that lead. And to Vince's point, when you get your real estate license, it says sales associate. Agents don't like to believe that, but yes, the state says that you're now a sales associate. The state says you're in sales. The only one that doesn't think you're in sales is you, right? If you're the agent. So the agent, it's all about learning how to sell.
Yeah. And
Rick,
if you're not
I have a
reading,
question. So
Go ahead,
sorry,
Lauren.
I have a question real quick because I feel bad for whatever agent you showed up to their open house and they're having a pathetic open house, but I would like to know, poor agent, what do you feel is like the biggest mistake that agents make when doing an open house, or what's something they overlook?
So I don't know what it's like where you're at, but it's not just one agent. It's probably 80% of the agents I feel aren't doing them right here in our area. But when you go into an open house, you'll see a lot of agents that spent money on one of those big sign-in books. And what reminds me of when you go to a funeral and a wake and you sign in to say, hey, I'm here. I came to see the dead people that were here. So I said, get rid of those and give away a gift card and do an entry form. And that way you capture their real information. Because when they walk in, they see that funeral book, they're going to put a false name, a false email, or whatever. But if they know that they can win something that day, you'll capture their real information. So you need to capture their information and then follow up. That's the biggest mistake we make, is not getting the right information and then not following up. Of course, like I said, there's some engaging questions that we need to ask going in and when they leave. But the main thing is let's get their right information so that we can actually follow up with them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a little hack for that I actually have like a pre-templated thing in my phone that once I'm communicating with somebody, I say, listen, we seem like we've had a great conversation. What's your phone number? And I'll pull up this template, type in their phone number, and send them my information. Who I am, my license number, my social media, my email address, my website, all the normal things, right? Digital business card.
Love
But
that.
then now I have their phone number and I can reach out to them the next day. Hey, listen, great talking with you. Have you had a chance to look at my social media? Do you have any questions? I'm just here to help. Do you have any friends or family that are looking also? And boom, you've opened up a couple more doors and it's digital. Now you're on the Frenzies texting thread, you know?
That's great.
And if you look at some of the marketing statistics, when you talk about SMS or texting, those are the number one most engaged marketing messages of anything else. People see it, people open it, people look at it. So, texting is kind of it's the hardest one to do because you got to feel okay about texting that person, but it's also the best, most engaged marketing message you can ever do, period. Hands
I
down.
agree.
Yep.
So, well, I wanted to take a minute and let everybody have any kind of takeaway thoughts or anything like that. I think we've had a really, really great first show, and I appreciate everybody's hard work in putting this together and making this first show such a success. But anybody has some kind of wrap-up thoughts? Lauren, I'm going to let you go first.
I feel like I've already learned so much from all of you this first episode, and I genuinely mean that. So thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm so excited to educate others, and I just can't wait to see what's to come with this show. So thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Lauren. Jeremy, you're up.
Yeah, again, to follow with what Lauren says, thank you for the opportunity and to help some people. That's really the reason I got into the business is as a passion point to turn some people into homeowners. So I'm really excited about what we can build with this, generate some following, and just help some people to the core. At the core level, really helping people is why I do the business. So I'm excited about that.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate you. Vince, you're up.
Yeah, I'm a teacher at heart, right? That's what came out of this. So it doesn't matter what it is. I want to try to teach people. So if I have knowledge in my head, I want to share it, whether it's how to tie your shoe, mortgage financing, or how to run a marathon. So I've got all those knowledges in my head. So I'm a teacher at heart. So I'm happy to teach people.
Perfect. Thank you, Vince. Rick, bring us home.
Well, it seems like we're all very like-minded. So thank you for finding all of us and putting us together for this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun helping people and educating people because that's what it's all about. The more people do well in this business, the better it is for everybody. We're not in competition with anybody except ourselves. So we should just keep getting better every time, try to outdo ourselves and then just have fun with it. So I'm enjoying this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And again, everyone, thank you so much for your time on our inaugural show. You can always find everyone that's in the show on the Facebook group, Keeping It Real in Real Estate. There is a couple of questions for you to answer when you get in there, but Lauren and I aren't that mean, so we'll probably let you in anyway, whether you answer it or not. Well, Lauren may not, I will. But thank you, everyone, for your time, and see you next week for show number 2.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Guys.
Thank you.